And I'd love to welcome everybody back to the Independent Investor channel here. My name is Ryan. Welcome to all the subscribers to the channel. Welcome to all the new viewers to the Independent Investor channel, man. We've been rocking out the project for many, many years now. And, I think if there was one regret in the history of my investing career in retrospect, I really wish I would have got involved with my current program a lot sooner. And I think that speaks to, people's insistence of getting caught up in life and allowing those life injects to kind of take priority over what you got going on. And, it's the challenge for me, certainly, on the channel as I'm trying to reach people and let them know how they can do it. The challenge inherently is baked into people's tendencies, their egos, their prioritizing of certain things and unwillingness to look at the importance, the lack of foresight in understanding why this should take more of a priority in your life. For me, breaking down, barriers so we can just speak one-on-one on a topic that is probably one of those things that people think is crazy to talk about through social media. There's no doubt about it. This is a barrier in and of itself. And I think that is one of those things that I've always been mystified on. So many people out there need help. Get a figure about 1 out of every 10 people, at least in the United States, out of about 240 million people, 1 out of every 10 will catch that millionaire mark. Okay. And I was actually fairly encouraged to understand that, but what about the rest of the 90%? What is it that people are getting so consumed by? Is it medical hangups? Is it, predisposition to spending habits that are counterproductive to a saving and wealth building program? Perhaps maybe a value set that doesn't quite put the priority and emphasis on saving and investing. Me, I've always insisted for the subscribers to the channel to look at it like a necessity. It's one of those things that is not optional on my channel. And for the people who truly understand that to be the case, it becomes more of a lifestyle than a choice, right? Eventually, you are going to have to take a hard look at your own current program. And I would encourage you to just take a pause for a couple of moments. And I would ask you, how do you feel about your current state of personal finance? Honestly, if you took a look in the mirror and said, Ryan, I don't feel too good about this current situation, you're probably more accurate than you think. And that's okay. It's the very first step in understanding that if you feel like you need more work, then there are things that I'm going to provide to you in this 60 minutes that can help you. You can deploy them. They're easy. Okay. I'm going to talk about many, many things, secrets to financial security, but we're going to talk about things from my perspective, because if I were just going to allow the powers that be to define the terms as it pertains to somebody that doesn't know a lot about the stock market, defining what they think that it takes in the stock market to make it, then nobody would ever do it. Because you've got the Dave Ramsey folks over here who need to fit kind of a narrative, and albeit I do agree with some of the elements of the Dave Ramsey program. I'm against institutions who try to drive a narrative to a group of people who are bestowed upon a reputation that they cannot do it on their own, and hence the channel Independent Investor. I think there's an element of interesting conversation that can be had around the idea of taking control of your own money. Um, you know, it flies in the face of a financial planning institution that would say, Ryan, you're crazy. Um, you know, Statistics would have you believe that nobody makes it on their own and that you're embarking on a journey to planned failure. I'm not really sure I understand that. Um, the powers that be would have you understand that you're too stupid to do any of this yourself, and you would need to succumb to the services of a financial planner professional. I've proven for the last 10 years, and 10 years ago, I did not have the validation. I needed to come onto YouTube and say, look, this works. We'll share the portfolio tonight. We'll show you we just surpassed the 1.25 million mark. I'm happy about it. I guess. I don't know. Money is a fairly shallow topic. I've said this probably hundreds of times on the channel, and I do want you to understand that your success in financial markets and your success in building your own personal wealth and financial security for yourself will be predicated upon your ability to place money where it belongs. And that's in a box. In a box. It's shallow. My money directly doesn't make me happy. Indirectly, it makes me somewhat more confident the more the financial security builds when I look at it and can acknowledge, yes, in fact, I have more financial security. Okay. I yield back. Okay. That, I guess, in some level gives me comfort. You could call that happiness, I guess. I've probably spent more minutes and hours and days and months and years than the average bear thinking about this. So how much from a percentage basis have I, spent focused on this topic? As I do believe it is absolutely justified to spend the time focused on this topic, right? And other people will spend their time focused on other things, and they may end up making it in this category. They may end up suffering. I don't know. All right. I'm not a judge, but therein lies the challenge for me to lend a program of parameters, philosophies, attributes, right? Thought processes to think about, to really think about and deploy. Some of the things are optional, others are not optional. Okay. And I'll mention two of them now. Secrets to financial security. Number one is employment. Number two is side hustle. If you're going to run a business, no problem. I consider that employment. If you're running an employment and you're doing a side hustle, you're probably doubling up efforts. That's a page out of my playbook, albeit I've been kind of inactive on the Independent Investor channel, and that's totally fine. The project is sacred to me. It's not going anywhere. It's no problem. But you have to have one of those two, okay? If you come into the Independent Investor channel and for whatever reason you are down on your luck, you are not employed, you're not bringing in an income, you don't have any capital to leverage, you don't have any capital to identify surplus in, you're not one of those candidates that I can look at and say, I can help you on the financial side. Now, on the emotional side and on the psychological side and on the spiritual side, you betcha I can help you. Okay. But the truth of the matter is most people have one of these two categories. So why is it that 90% of people out there cannot achieve the financial security that I think they're capable of achieving? And that's, you know, seven-figure mark, good financial security. Okay, to each his own on what they need. That's a fairly loose term on what people think that they will need in retirement and what they'll need based on the assets that they are looking to buffer and protect, the legacy that they're looking to leave for the children, etc., things like that. Okay. But the secrets to financial security, in my mind, were bastardized quite a bit, especially amongst the younger community. I don't want to get a job. I don't want to work. I don't want to join the military. I don't want to do a stinking thing with my life. But they're the first to tell you, "I wanna be a millionaire, Ryan." No problem, I can support you doing that. Do you have 10,000 of invested capital? Well, no. How much do you have in savings? I have $276.80, Ryan. Okay, well, that's a start. How much debt do you have? Ryan, I've got $6,700 in debt. Okay. You think I'm joking? I am not. And it's almost like an escape to focusing on the real problem. It's much easier said that I can just wish my way to the millions. Now, it's okay if I don't actually physically make it there. It's the perception that people have of me that I am an entrepreneur and I dress to impress and I fit in on Instagram, TikTok. Am I hitting the mark at all? Am I off base? Right? These are the things that allow us to escape the very requirement of seeking out some level of employment. And I'm just going to impart to you this. If you're lucky enough to get a job that you enjoy, I am lucky. And it's probably lent itself to my ability to hold on to my careers, plural. Um, and I've loved them both. This latter one has really been more of a blessing than anything. And then the Independent Investor Project has been indirectly a very successful program. That's why I can come onto a live stream and speak to 15 people. It's no problem because I do this not only for you, but I do this for me. This is my favorite topic to speak about. I can speak round and round about the psychology of money for hours. It's no problem. And for the people that catch my message, I see Chris. Chris has been with me for many, many years. Chris has sent me salsa for crying out loud. I consider him a friend of the channel. And Steve and Reginald and Helen's been with me for many, many years as well. These are folks that get it. And so when I throw out the 1 out of every 10 people, and I think that's a little bit aggressive of a number, but okay, that's top 10% of people will achieve the millionaire mark. How do we get there? How do we make that work? Okay. So we spend part of the time looking on how we can achieve and break into that top 10%. But I think a lot of the channel's focus will be on that 90 percentile of people who, for whatever reason, may or may not find the channel. And the unfortunate part about it, I guess, is that, my devotion to the project while doing the project is very, very monumental. But I refuse to do what Google requires of me on social media. I will not be influenced as an independent fella and an independent mind and an independent fella who invests in a way that actually does work. It does apply to all of the many challenges that I spoke about, that the barriers that we need to overcome with people. And quite frankly, there's people out there in social media that don't even know me. They hate my guts. They don't even know me. They hate my guts. That's social media for you, right? Right. They wouldn't tell me one bad lick of thing in front of my face, but certainly on social media, it's a landscape to come on. And boy, this guy's really arrogant. He knows it all with the stock market. You're misconstruing the message altogether. I teach upon what I do and what works and has worked for me. And if it can work for you in some large or small scale, then so be it. Deploy, have a ball. Okay. And I run social media different than most. This social media for me is not social media as I would expect it to be perceived as normal social media. This is not. So, I don't edit my content. This is right off the cuff. This is slightly scripted. There's my notes. It's a nice tidbit from my portfolio of goods, right? I spend a lot of my time with a pen and a pad of paper. I do. I go through reams of it. I rip, I tear. Here's one I'll share from you. Here's some stock picks. Some good ones on there. Altria, Lockheed Martin, Bristol Myers, Cisco, right? Merck, McDonald's. You get the point. But taking the thoughts from the mind and putting it down into some organized thought to try to make sense of this madness. And we look at what's going on right now and you say, Jesus, Ryan, you ought to be the happiest fella out there. Cautiously optimistic when the market starts to do this. I invested in you guys just a short while ago. I know the folks that I named in the audience right now who were with me when the portfolio was sitting at 425,000. I started YouTube. The portfolio was at $68,000. And we'll disclose to you that in 10 million, we've been able to build the portfolio in a long and winding road to, 1.28 million. And that's what we're sitting on for net worth. It is what it is. I plan on getting enough financial security to where, we're probably going to tie up some of those assets and some hard stuff. And I talked to my son this week on the way to school, taught him, one of my golden lessons: never sell, never sell. If we can establish a legacy portfolio enough to take care of the tax implication, right, by rendering enough dividends to cover the properties where we're domiciled, what an amazing luxury to be free of a system that would own you via utilities and own you via taxation. What an amazing embrace of freedom by allowing ourselves to guarantee that we always have a place to live. Just give you some insights on the why category when we get to that, which is what you got to answer for yourself. I ask people all the time, why do you invest? They have no idea. I had a comment just this week. I was on a professional school this week, and the instructor came on and said, one of the students said, I like to invest. And the instructor came on and said, wow, you still invest now? Implying that anybody who gets involved with the stock market is going to inevitably fail. Probably true to an extent that if I were just going to get involved and decided to try to find that pharmaceutical drug, right, that was in clinical stage 2 of approval, right? And lo and behold, I want to put my entire life savings on that and see it go to the moon and make me a millionaire in a week. I only pose that because I think there is a marked lack of understanding about becoming a participant in financial markets. That's why I think people forego the most obvious idea right in front of your face in investing in the S&P 500. Um, I look at a long-term chart in the S&P, look at some of the S&P products going back to the early 2000s, and dare I suggest that the S&P would have returned something to you had you injected along that continuum at some point in the S&P. It's been fantastic. Even if you completely bastardized the idea of passive investing, you were in and out of the market. I mean, I don't even know if I could have invested in the S&P 500 and tried to lose money. I guess. I'm not sure. But to reference the instructor in the comment, just again, wasn't any surprise to me. It was more of a, snide comment that perhaps anybody who gets involved with the stock market is inevitably going to fail. And I just think that's one of the misconceptions about what really lends people to failure later on in life. Is it in fact following a disciplined investing program? Or could it be potentially not investing at all? I want you guys to think about that a little bit. I think sometimes people think they've got the investing thing understood and they can't explain the first basic education piece about investing, the education pieces that I insist that you have. basic education. You do not have to be a financial statement reader to be successful in stock market investing. If you're going for year-over-year returns in the S&P 500, you're basically buying the entire market, you're putting it in your back pocket. That's what you're doing. You're going for that 8% matched rate of return. You're going for that 11% matched rate of return. Please explain to me how reading a balance sheet of Google helps you in your investing of the S&P 500 diversified exchange traded fund. Tell me how those two are related. They're not. They're not necessary. And the reason why I throw that out there is because I feel like most people are deficient in that mentality of becoming a participant in the market with the understanding that you wouldn't have lost. You wouldn't have lost. So many people justify doing this and doing that and doing this over here. What's more crazy? Remember at the top of the live stream, I asked you guys, how do you feel about your financial situation now? I break it down this way in the categories. Are you ahead? Be honest with yourself. If you honestly feel like you're ahead, then you're ahead. Now, if you come to me and you say, okay, I'm 50 years old and I've got $2,500 of invested capital, I would potentially disagree with you and suggest that you are not a non-investor, but you are behind in the game. And we need to embolden that wealth building strategy. No problem. There's no judgments. It's okay. I'm 48 myself. Okay. It's okay. But the second that we level with ourselves and look at where we are is the very second that we can actually look at and constructively set up a roadmap for the future. Okay. But until we start doing that, I'm afraid that there's way, way too many people in the nothing category. We'll let the audience build up just a little bit. Welcome to the Friday live stream. But guys, be back with you in just a moment. I guess the common reaction to success on social media, and I see this quite often, is to be, well, jealous, I guess, is the rampant reaction to people. Um, the irony in this comment is that I actually know this guy, met him in person, very cool guy, very, very cool guy, down to earth, just an awesome, awesome person. And I like to operate on a whim that there's a lot more people like this in the world. I see a lot of evil in the world. Last week was a really, really tough week for me, man. It was tough, and I don't want to get into that tonight. I just want to talk about the positive. What are people doing with their life to actually accelerate the path towards something? And the cool thing about Dave coming on and sharing this for not necessarily the people, the regulars in the group tonight, but for somebody who comes in and they're 16, 17, 18, 21, 22, 23 years old, and they look at this and they truly read it. It's a comment. It's a social media comment. So just put down TikTok for 2 seconds and read what this guy says. There's a lot there. A lot. What happens on the parabolic effect later on in life when you start to approach that 7-figure mark? How fast does wealth approach toward that latter end of the portfolio building process, right? Why is it that my portfolio isn't growing every single day? I come onto the Independent Investor channel every single week, and I'm frustrated, man, because my portfolio isn't going up that much, right? It went up $12 one day. It went down $20 another day. It went up $58 another day. And It seems like the days and the weeks and the months are going by, Ryan, and nothing's happening. Okay. There are some techniques to help infuse that, but I'm not going to sit across from a YouTube audience and say that you're the only one. What you're seeing is the real stuff. This is investing 101. This is how it happens. Okay. You must have realistic expectations. And when you come into the independent investor channel, this is free of charge. And what you're getting to see here is a testimony from a friend of mine. Okay, who is kind enough to share that. And again, in the social media landscape, this stuff right here doesn't necessarily get met with positive reaction. Like me, I'm like, this is incredible, fantastic. I read that from the lens of I'm educating myself. Read what he did. 330 to leverage in a place to live. And I know the place he bought and where, a very, very expensive place. So it was a little bit of a cut above as far as the price point goes, right? Lean back on the investments. Don't have that option if you choose to be a non-investor your entire life, right? But this, along with many other opportunities for me to celebrate success, is something that I absolutely doubled down on the independent investor channel. It's one of the veins as to why I do the channel. Okay. I don't do this to make Google dollars. Okay. I don't do that. I make enough with my job. I'm happy. I take a raise next year. If I can impart to you guys, I'm so freaking happy right now with category one, which is just employment. I'm so happy. 20 years with my current employment, and I have no signs of slowing down. None. I have certain projects on the creative side of the independent investor channel, man. Sometimes I just don't feel like coming on and doing this. I don't, because I've got to get in on the other side of my brain, right? And the creative side, once you get there, you want to stay there. But I'm not there all the time, right? I'm on the technical side. I'm technically applying at my job, which I feel like I'm good at, right? But it's kind of things like this, nuggets like this that I kind of pick up on, and many others as I read through the comments, because I'm scanning the comments as we go through the live stream, which is an interesting payment for me, man. And all I can say from the bottom of my heart is congratulations. I think this speaks to a disciplined program. I think Dave would agree if he come on and tell the audience nothing's perfect. This portfolio, I mean, me and him have suffered from some bad beats together. My portfolio hasn't been perfect. There's nobody. I mean, I'm counting them. There's at least 4 millionaires right now in the group that are coming on to the independent investor channel to say hello. These are normal people. These are not assholes. Okay. These are awesome people. Okay. And no judgments if you want to buy a Mercedes and do that. But these people, you might not know it if you just met them on the street. Are you one of those people that care more about the optics than the actual program? Ask yourself, what's more important to you? Well, it's great to see you, Dave. Congrats to you, my friend. That's pretty rocking. But continue on to the secrets of financial security. Number 3 is invest. We touch on the investing topic on the independent investor channel, along with credit discipline. All right. Investing, fun topic. Fun. Get it out of your mind. This week in class, it was professional development class. I'm enjoying it. We're talking about public speaking, which I don't know a thing about. Okay. We're talking about public speaking, and it always gets brought up when we talk about public speaking. It's one of the many deathly fears that people have in life, right? Nobody ever says that it's a high income earner skill. Nobody ever says that. Nobody ever says, hey, your opportunity for public speaking is probably going to come once every 10 years. So stop beating the shit out of yourself because you don't know how to do it, right? And give yourself a break. Maybe if you did it more often, you'd be a little bit more polished, maybe understand a little bit more about your own capability, right? And not get lockjawed because you're expecting more out of yourself than what yourself can deliver. Investing is the same idea. Okay. But when we talk about invest and credit discipline, these are one of the 5 attributes. So as I'm going down the list, ask yourself, am I employed? Check. Do I have a side hustle? Yes or no? No problem. Do I invest? Something that we'll expand upon this evening. Do I have credit discipline? Credit discipline, guys. I use credit card for everything. I've had my credit card compromised, I think about 8 times this year already. I've been out $0, 0, because I use the credit card. Banks are phenomenal with credit. I carry no debt. I pay it off. I get a bunch of free money for the money that I spend. That's my credit program right there. Okay. If you want to send me $595 in the mail for giving you the answer to credit discipline, by all means, go ahead. But I just gave it to you for free. Okay. And that's the way I like it because it's a lot simpler than that. All right. If I was more polished and I came on and I had a suit and tie and I looked like a professional, perhaps maybe it would lend itself better. Ultimately, they would be saying the exact same thing I just told you. All right. And the last thing is education, the basics, my way. Okay. Not, I think I know, or I think I know, but I'm completely wrong. Right. But I still think I'm right. Okay. It's the whole, oh my God, you invest. Are you all right, brother? Are you okay? Does your family eat? Um, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I just choose to go through my life with the perspective of being a participant in the market. That's all. Jesus. It's not that big of a deal. The styles of investing that we talk about, and then we're going to do the portfolio review because I want you to assimilate the styles of investing with the actual renderings that can be uh, that can be had in the stock market by deploying these multiple strategies. Now, for the beginning investor, I talk about S&P investing, SPY, IBV, whatever it is to get your feet wet. You want to start with SCHD, no problem. You can do that. Okay. You start with dividends first, start with a passive S&P representative sample. That's passive investing. That's style number 1. And it's the most important style that you can engage with, become a participant in. For military folks out there, government workers alike that hold the thrift savings plan, this in essence is the golden child for passive investing. Okay. Number 2, seek out dividends. Okay. Through a dividend strategy. All right. I hold a bucket of stocks and I'll earmark that when we go through the portfolio review so you can understand where the dividend exposure comes. Okay. The aggressive portion of the portfolio, I have been off covering my favorite stock in the aggressive growth category. I do own right now 3. I own 20,000 shares of Plurilock. I own 25,000 shares of Orico Resource Corp. And finally, I own a truckload of Aduro Clean Technologies. Okay. I've owned that for quite a long time. It's done quite well for me. I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of the magic of what I have done with my stock position. I could probably write and author a book on what I've done with the position. It's very, very unique. I basically took my capability and put it to work and leveraged far in excess of $250,000 in the trade. Now my core position has remained the same, and we're up significantly, multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in the position. But what I have done with regard to my trading around the core has been nothing less than remarkable. If I showed you, you would agree. Um, I'm very humble. I'm not an arrogant asshole. But if you looked at what I've done, the amount of renderings tax-free within the Roth IRA has been nothing short of remarkable. Yeah. So I have the aggressive portfolio covered. Okay. We are on the precipice of that really turning into the pre-commercial. I'm very, very excited about it. But I'm not covering the story, and I'm doing that for a reason. I have just too much I have too much respect for the work I've put in. I have too much respect for their management team, and I have way too much respect for where they are in the process. I think what they need to do right now is organically build and share their story, and I think that's what they're doing. And I don't want to get involved in that right now. I will kindly sit on the sideline unless compelled to do something other than that. And that's what I choose to do. And I think that's the prudent move right now. I'm going on a little bit of business instinct here. That's what I think is prudent at this particular juncture. And then finally, fixed income, which the independent investor channel doesn't. I don't have any fixed income right now. The dividends kind of satisfy that, and the large swath of passive investments that we have there. Okay, so let's rip through the portfolio real quick, guys. Okay, we're looking at a joint portfolio. The joint account. This is multiple accounts here as we rip through it. 143,815 here. There's just two speculative holdings in here. That's well over $100,000 in a Duro in this portfolio. Done quite well. Roth number one. There's a six-figure portfolio position in both VOO and Duro Clean Technologies in this portfolio. Again, being on the precipice of pre-commercial, I expect that these positions will materialize. 35 shares of Microsoft, $17,000 in each Microsoft and Visa, and then finally Adobe. So the Roth, in looking forward, definitely want to make this much more of a well-rounded portfolio. I wouldn't consider it as such now, but this is what it is at the time of filming the live stream here in 2025. Okay, Roth 2. This is mine. This is performed quite well. Aduro is another nice big position there. Multiple $100,000 position there. VGT were 150 shares of VGT. That's a big position there. So that's 110,000 in VGT. SCHD about 80 grand, so 3,000 shares of SCHD, and then the Oracle position I just threw in here as a token position. That's a couple $1,000 for $4,700, 25,000 shares of Oracle. That's in the Roth. Okay. So that's all the tax protected money. This ETF portfolio is a brokerage account. For you guys that are familiar with the account, it's passive. Own the sectors. I don't touch, manipulate. I don't even fund this. I'm allowing it to pursue that $50,000 wealth threshold. I'm happy with its performance. It's a very, very sleep easy fun way of investing, and that's what I do. Relatively light amount in here at $41,161. This is the first portion of the dividend portfolio. I put this on a script so you can see the actual holdings in the portfolio, but just shy of 68,000 in this dividend portfolio. Part one renders 4%. It's a little more close to 4,000. Actually, I didn't update that, but those are the dividend portfolio part one. So that's the top 25. And then the bottom 17 holdings are as follows: 25,400 in there. So total in the dividend portfolio, I think I'm looking at about 93,000 in dividend stocks. So we'll just allow those to continue to work on an individual basis, hopefully get those holdings up to, the first incentive threshold of 10,000 per holding. These are all good stocks: HSBC, Procter and Gamble, Raytheon, British Tobacco, Total Energy, Citigroup's been on a tear, Southern Company. These are companies that everybody knows, Valero, BHP Billiton. So, you guys are familiar with these names. So that rounds out the dividends. So like I said, strategy number 2 is represented there. And then I did mention at the top of the stream, the thrift savings plan, which this is just absolutely performing fantastic. This is a passive. That year to date is actually 19%. I apologize. I did not update that tonight. That slipped my mind. I apologize. It's actually closer to 19,000% year to date. Just been on a nice tear. And then I provide you my allocation. It's free. Is too much information for me to just convey on 60 minutes, but I do the very, very best I can. Okay. Business account 54,615. A good amount of that is tied up in Aduro Clean Technologies. So 4 total accounts, speaks to my conviction on the name. I've owned it for going on 3 years. Happy with the performance, and there's no reason to do anything else. Savings 22,000 in the savings account. I do have some foreign cash, 5,500, and some US cash of 5,000. That's available cash on hand. So just again another bucket of what it is that I value on liquid cash. Okay. It's the only 401k we have in our program. I shared on the Independent Investor channel when we actually started this. This actually is the only one that has the 5% match, and it's growing quite nicely. So just 14,500 there in the 401k. So very cool. And this is a category that I've started to share with you guys because it doesn't always have to be in the form of paper. It doesn't have to be in the form of stock. It doesn't have to be in the form of options or real estate. This is alternative investments comprised of firearms, ammo, sports cards, and those accessories, which carry with it a significant premium when we're talking about that category. Okay. On the sports cards, I only deal with PSA graded cards. I try to get as high a grade as I possibly can. And typically anymore, I'm really not interested in the offering unless modern stuff is graded a PSA 9 or 10. More often a 10 is what I'm after. And then vintage stuff, the grades can significantly go down from there. If I was going to grab a Willie Mays, PSA 5, I would be compelled to do that. Okay. But that just gives you, this is just another category of interest for me that is kind of fun to share on the channel. This is me. This is me. This is what I do. So kind of cool. And there's the rendering there in the portfolio, 1.286620. Okay. So there it is. Doing okay, man. So a lot of fun, man, to deploy a program that I believe on, and it's a mix of deployment physically, but also a good mix of psychology as well. Okay. I can have all the knowledge in the world, but if I'm not willing to deploy and take a chance, then this stuff doesn't happen for me. Okay. If I'm willing to deploy, but I don't have the knowledge piece or the psychology, then it can go south on me quick, deploying in that haphazard of a way as well. So just to kind of keep that in mind where we're looking to strike somewhat of a balance. Okay. All right. Now, on the education piece, I kind of wanted to just throw this out there because I know that there will be a few hundred people that catch the video. And I know people probably got caught up on what education do you suggest that I have? And I'm going to give you the goods. Okay. The skeleton key. I'm going to give it to you now. All right. So if you're new to investing, here it is. I'm going to give it to you. If you are existing with me, you know this. Okay. Maybe you need to hear it again. I love saying it because it is the root and essence of investing. And here it is. The basic education, tax-free, no fee. Okay. Tax-free, no fee. Okay. And it can be accomplished through the Roth IRA in a self-directed account. Okay. It can be one of the most powerful things that you can start for yourself. If you want to know where to start, what to do, you know nothing. I just told you. Start a Roth IRA of a self-directed, independent nature. Make sure that there's no annual fees attached to it. Ask them to designate it as a self-directed account. Now you own that account. This is yours. This is your account. It's yours. Okay. They're not going to come and take part of your blue pin every single year. It's your pin. You've earned the pin. Okay. You started the pin. It's yours 100%. Even the ink and the pen you own, it's yours, my friends. Enjoy the fact of ownership and don't sell your boat down the river, man, by giving away the farm to your God-given right to a self-directed Roth IRA account. You get tax-free money. Remember I talked about the Aduro trades happening within the Roth IRA? I'll just tell you, I've been able to clear 128,000, so 6 figures of trading capital within the Roth. That's not even including my core position. My core position, it's there. It's been there for years. It stays there. It doesn't move. But I opened up a second core position on top of that I trade the volatility around. If I conveyed to you my brokerage account, you would probably see about 50 or 60 trades in there. Now I'm 100% winning streak. I've not lost, not one. Yeah, batting 1,000. I told you it was epic. Yeah. And that's not the only account. Okay. But the education piece, if you can start with tax-free, no fee, that is the simple truth to investing. But they told me on CNBC I had to find a financial planner. Ignore it. Okay. If you want to tune into me, I'm not going to give you the status quo. I'm not going to give you what you think you want to hear. I'm going to give you what you need to hear. There's a big, big difference. Start to challenge what it is you hear through social media. Start to actually listen to people, but in the back of your mind, it's okay to disagree and say, thank you for the information, but I'm good. Right? Start to scrutinize information as it comes into your processor. Okay? Most of the information out there is worthy of scrutinizing. Trust me. I yearn for people. I mourn for people who just take in all information in their mind and think that they've got to react to every bit of it. All right? No, be deliberate with your process. Know why you do what you do and why you do it. Know what you own and why you own it. Peter Lynch. That's a very, very simple philosophy to adhere to. I hope you heard it. Okay? Always run yourself through the deliberation of what, where, when, why, and how. What, where, when, why, and how. Commit it to memory. Now, here's the answers. The why you invest. If you follow the secrets to financial security, a funny thing is going to happen eventually after you stop being pissed off at me that your portfolio never grows and it goes up $17 and you lose $50 and oh my God, you have a down year and blah, 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 blah. And I'm not going anywhere and you suck, Ryan, and I suck and everybody sucks and the world is out to get me. After you get over that and you start to validate for yourself that investing actually works, you will realize that that goal on the horizon for you is more achievable now, having moved yourself along the continuum toward financial security. Financial security. Why do we invest? I don't know. You can invest for whatever you want. I give you financial security because that's mine. That's mine. Every dollar that lends itself to my financial security later on down the line, and oh, even one better, my kids' financial security through perhaps maybe a legacy to them, as long as I feel like they're prepared as the independent investor offspring, right? I'm not turning over an empire so they can do what 90% of people do who take inherited wealth. They lose it within the first year. 90%. 90%. Unbelievable. Staggering. This is more entertaining than Netflix. Trust me. How? Dollar cost average, inject a little bit of cash on the same day, different days, once a week, twice a week, once a month, whatever it is that you can do, and then fund as often as you can. Okay. You get that tax refund. Maybe you don't need that 108-inch TV to watch the Super Bowl. Okay. The Chiefs aren't going to be there this year anyway. Okay. So just let it go. All right. I don't know. Maybe just take that entire wad and put it toward your annual funding to your Roth IRA. There's a bold statement, right? All right. I'm pissed off that my portfolio isn't growing. I'm going to manufacture wealth in there. I'm going to fund this thing up arbitrarily. And guys, that's the type of revelation that you have to have when you're deploying this program. You have to look at it and say, man alive, okay, it's growing, but it's not growing at the speed that I want it to grow. What can I do? Put more money in it. Put it in there. You're accelerating your wealth building program. If you think for a second that you're going to take a $10 bill and put it into a Roth IRA, Rand said the Roth and the no fee, man, of the $10, and you're going to do this, you're going to come into the independent investor channel. You're going to sit across from me and you say, okay, Ryan, what's the deal? This $10 is not moving. It's not moving. I always said investing was gambling. All my friends told me not to get involved with this. The $10 isn't growing, Ryan. Therein lies the fallacy, right? Perhaps maybe you can take some of that surplus capital that you blew on, right? Hubba bubba. Okay. Big league chew, things that you don't need, things that you do not need, and infuse that capital into your program. Okay. It has to take more of a priority, guys. All right. In the United States, I have no sympathy for you. None. Zero. If you're blowing off opportunity in the United States, you have absolutely zero sympathy from me. But if you have opportunity and you're making somewhat of a sizable income, you're not going to get any pass from me. No way. You have surplus capital. No, I don't, Ryan. I don't. Yeah, you do. You freaking do. So find it and start to notch this up on the priority list and start to get ahead in life. Okay. Because you have the very drop point that you need to go ahead and infuse that capital. The what? The what is low cost ETF or index funds. Very, very simple. That's the what. Very, very easy. I just gave you the answer. All right. God, this is cool. I'm like taking a test and Ryan just gives me all the answers. It's badass, huh? Where? The IRA, self-directed as in a Roth, okay? 135, 140, whatever the cap is. You're probably not making that as a single person, okay? I'm speaking to the masses. Early 20s, you're probably not making that six-figure income. You're good. You're eligible to contribute to the Roth IRA, 401k, whatever it is. And then finally, the win. The win is the most important. When is that you want to deploy the program? I want to watch 6 months of Ryan on the Independent Investor channel. I'm not going to invest until I go back and watch all 1,000 of his live streams. You don't believe me? Go back and look. I think I have 1,000 live streams, I think. Pretty awesome. I have 1,000 regular content videos as well. If you spent the time to go back and educate yourself, you might turn into me. Jesus, you would absolutely think like me. There's no doubt about it. And probably not supposed to say this, but I'll say it anyway. You would become a millionaire. Pretty arrogant. No. If a small fry like me can do it, trust me, you can do it. There's people who make far greater income than me. There's people who make far less income and they end up making it. What is the differentiator? Is it just income? Of course not. It's your noodle. It's what you have in between your ears. It's your psychology. It's your desire and your insistence to do. That's it. Okay. Very, very simple. So that's the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Now, as we close out the live stream, I'm going to go maybe a couple minutes over. All right. So just chill out. I'm going to get to some of the comments. All right. Just chill out for a second. I'm going to go over the traits of an investor. This is my own personal pedigree. Okay. This is the unique aspect of why you tune into the channel and why I don't skip edit the shit out of you when you're watching the live stream. Okay. I don't need to do that. I'll shut it off and be fine with my life. Trust me. I don't need to impress you. All right. Don't need to do it. Mm, mm. And I refuse to do it because I think social media is probably just about as close to the armpit of society that we have now. Yeah. It's bringing out the very worst in people. So why is it that if I feel that way, I'm going to come on and subject myself and my audience to what I think social media wants? Nah, I'm going to do it my way. I've always said that on the channel. I'm keep creative content on the channel, and that's what I'm going to do. Yeah. I see Blood Phantom. I haven't seen Blood Phantom in a few years, and I want to get to his comment. That's pretty cool. Let me get through this lesson real quick, and then I'm going to get down to some of these cats that I haven't seen for a while, man. The traits. What is it that separates me that I just give it to you? Guys, these are traits that I can give to you for free. Independence. Okay. Independence. I talk about this all. It's the root and lifeblood of the channel. Be independent with your application. Don't be such a pushover. Stop being a pussy. All right. Stop. You think you spend so much? Stop spending so effing much. Control your shit. Okay. Stop being a fart in the wind. Please. You can do it. Take control of your life. Money is something that you're going to have to grab by the boo-boo if you want to succeed. Okay? That's what it takes. And it takes independent thought. Stop subjecting yourself to the whims of others all the time. All right? Write your own program. To hell with everybody else. All right? Take it. Run with it. Make it work for yourself. Make it work better than I portray that it works for me on the channel. All right? A willingness and a desire to do. If I have a willingness to do, I also have to have a physical decision point where I actually do start the account, fund the account, DCA the account, strategically inject the account, right? You have to actually physically do these things. For people who don't invest, they come into the independent investor channel and honestly, man, they look at what I'm talking about and they think I'm speaking Chinese. And I don't know how to speak Chinese. Mm, yeah, yeah. It's just a discipline. And again, it is a very shallow discipline, but it can be learned. The trick is to learn the right stuff. At least as much of the right stuff as you possibly can. You deploy a good percentage of the right stuff, and you're there. You can make it happen for yourself. You have to be committed. Life is going to change. You're going to complicate your life. You're going to run into roadblocks. You're going to have barriers. There's going to be people who want to derail you, tell you that you don't know what you're talking about. There will be people that come into the independent investor channel, look at my portfolio and say, you don't know what you're talking about, Ryan. Fair enough. Okay. Okay. I, I guess I don't. I don't know. I don't, I don't necessarily base my success in investing on my ability to extrapolate from financial statements some sort of ability to take that knowledge and then transform it into alpha for myself. I don't I don't do that. That's not my thing. Do I think it's possible? I don't know. The hedge funds lose 20% in fees every single year for their clients trying to prove that fallacy. Why? I just made 20% in the S&P 500 this year. Will it go down toward the end of the hell? I don't know. I don't know, but I didn't do anything for it. I didn't do anything. I didn't spend one iota of time, okay, managing my S&P 500 position. I didn't need to do that. That's the beauty of it. I own it. What else, Ryan? I own it. Oh, come on, Ryan. There's got to be more to it. I own it. I deploy commitment. It's committed. Commitment, right? Very, very simple. In the household, you got to have some teamwork. If you do speak for a spouse, significant other, whatever that might be, you got to have some teamwork. You have to adapt some perspective. I have perspective coming out my ears. I share that on the channel. That's why, hopefully, if you come in the channel, that's what you get. You get a perspective, and hopefully, it's a unique one because I feel like I'm unique. Trust me. I've yet to meet another person on this earth that can speak to me like the way I speak to them. I'm looking. Trust me. And then finally, validation. Okay. some of the intangible things, things that aren't directly related to investing: health, diet, exercise. I volunteer. It's one of the coolest things I do. I volunteer for soccer. I'm a soccer coach for my son. I love it. I don't get paid for it. I stress myself out over it. I want to win. I enlighten bright minds. I get way more fulfillment out of that than I do manifesting over my portfolio. Right? Again, shallow, fulfilling. Shallow, fulfilling. Separate those two in your mind. This over here will work for you. Don't worry about it. Stop thinking that you have to yell and scream at it or stress about it or lose sleep over it. Stop. Okay. I'm going to lose sleep. I'm going to lose sleep because I want to win my soccer game. That's going to kick some ass. That's me. And then finally, family and spiritual. All right. And that kind of rounds out the lesson for tonight. Let's get in and talk to some folks here. See if we can't derive a little bit of lesson. I'll start right at the bottom with Jared. I think Jared was subscriber number 3 on the Independent Investor channel. He was sub 3 with his big mouth bass. It's been a long time. I've been doing this a long time. It's been pretty cool, actually. But it's great to see you, brother. Thank you for stopping in. Holland's got a bigger comment. He's got a bunch here, so I'm going to try to pick out the nuts and bolts. I'll always be buying. Auto deposit, right? So that's the nuts and bolts of the DCA program that I share. Forget about it. That's another strategy. Do it once a month, even once a month, right? I mean, I look at mine multiple times a day just because I enjoy the craft that I'm engaged in. This is what I do. Just like anything else, the more you put in, the more you get out of it. That's very, very prudent advice. Excuse me, not advice. It's a comment. We're not supposed to use the word advice. Okay. We can't do that for each other. We can't do that. And Kathy's tuning in. Good evening to you. It's great to have you. Another devote subscriber to the channel. Very cool. I got to get 𝗖𝐋𝐈𝖖𝐊 a wrench. As a matter of fact, let me cruise over here. I got to do this real quick. I got to get 𝗖𝐋 in here. Yeah, there it is. Standard. There you go, 𝗖𝐋. You've been anointed, my friend. I just threw a wrench at you. Congratulations, man. Throws comment up here. Honest truth, Ryan, getting over it and just start investing. Yeah, it's hard for me to relate with how hard this must psychologically be. But then I look at myself and I look at the deliberations that I went through when I started. And I don't think that those are foreign deliberations. I don't. I think people have their reservations and they have their barriers to entry. And we want to make sure that education is in place before we decide to take that leap of faith. But I want to premise this by saying that a lot of activities that people engage in are exponentially more damaging in their life than investing. Just, people got just like pulling teeth to get them in the S&P 500, and it's like people drive erratically or they eat like dog shit and they don't exercise, right? And they're spiritually unfit. They're pissed off at the world. They're depressed, right? Far more damaging than taking a stand for yourself and participating in this great machine that we have, that is the stock market, that represents these fine companies that we know and we love and we use every day. That's it. So, I don't want to make it like some singular insurmountable thing for people and scare people. I'd rather look at people who are deliberating and address those deliberations as normal. Those are normal reactions to change that people have in going through the deliberation of whether or not they want to do or not to do. Okay. Yeah, Blood Phantom's in the house, man. Miss you, bro. I hope all's well. Was on the road. Join and say hello. You're always welcome, man. Once you hit me up and come on and say hello, it's been a while. And yeah, you've got a phenomenal investment mind. I'm sure you're doing fine. Absolutely, very very career oriented, or at least that's what I remember about you. And thanks for coming on and saying hello. Very cool stuff. This is why I do the channel. It's kind of connections like this that kind of the lifeblood of the channel from all walks of life. No doubt about it, man. I'd love to have some barbecue with Jared someday. I'd love to have, some discussions, man, high level discussions with some of these savvy investors. You know, yeah, and we'll keep it a social media network association until the day that we don't need to do that, and that'll be real cool for me, real cool. I'm jammed up in the work process right now, man. I'm in my zone right now. Just God, man, things could not be better. I'm so happy, and I'm not even talking about the portfolio. The portfolio is taking care of itself. It's one of those things to where I've worked so hard my whole life to see some validation there, and finally seeing that validation really pay off in spades. I'm not kidding you guys. The Aduro trade has been the trade of a lifetime. But again, if I was going to impart to you what I've been able to do over the last 9 months, probably 6 months in 2025 is probably worth studying at some high level trading. Um, yeah, yeah, it's good. It's good. I'm happy. Yeah, it's good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming on, man. Awesome stuff. Yeah, make a habit of it. It's good to see you, Jamie. I like associating this as a lifestyle choice. That's the way I look at it. It's good stuff, man. People put their money in a house and just leave it there while it's stuck. A first emergency comes along and they break the glass and withdraw from the brokerage. It's just a very, very good point about people over leveraging in multiple categories and not thinking fundamentally about anticipating life changes. And they do. They happen, and you're absolutely right. I think in this country, I think we all too often fall victim to this just because real estate can be very lucrative if you catch it on the upswing. The irony in that is I've talked to people who have actually ended up on the downswing of real estate, and it's unforgiving, and it's rough, and there are two sides to the coin. So just be careful. It's the same thing with the stock market. Same exact thing. I wasted 5 years from 2010 because I had no idea how my 401k worked. Yep, yep. So you figure that stuff out. That's just the education piece, right? It's not rocket science, Jamie. You just take a little time to figure it out, uncover those answers for yourself. Makes you powerful. Makes you a better applicator. It has saved me before. It saved me now, and God willing, it will be saving me going forward. It absolutely will. Yep, it will. And I wish upon you and every other person who's come in and partaken of the channel to discover that validation in investing as soon as you can. Guys, we're not doing this to just do it. Yeah, we're not investing just so we can come in and sing Kumbaya every Friday. This is serious, serious shit. Okay? The bottom line, I want people to get effing wealthy. And I kick over as many rocks as I possibly can for you to really, really help you. If your surplus capital is X, no problem. That surplus capital, it lends itself to the program, right? What can you cut back on? What can you look at? What bills can you hone back on? What type of evaluation can you constantly do? I'm constantly evaluating my program, right? So you got to be attuned to those things and make sure that you don't have leaks in your process that are, you're losing it out the back end as quickly as you can bring it in the front. Okay. You want to keep your shit wired tight. All right. Loving Enduro in the Roth. My wife and I have it. VOOQQQ. Very good. 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 Yeah. It's I owed you. Jesus. Who knows? Maybe Hyliion will be at 4 by the end of the year. Who knows? I don't know. I don't own any of the stock. I cannot compel myself to get over my bearish thesis in the company. I just can't do it. I Either these guys have the goods or they are so full of shit that it should go down in history as the greatest, like the ability to take $660 million and flush it completely down the toilet and never make a dime. You're like, I, I don't know. I am rooting for them because I'm rooting for a very, very few contingent of the stock, Andreas and Silent Alert. I love those guys. I really do. I wish them all the best. And they've deployed the conviction. So if they make it out of this thing and they see that light at the end of the tunnel that they are alluding to, I'll be happy for them, man. Even me, I'll be happy for them. You betcha. Yep. And Victor's in the house. Victor, it's great to see you, man. Welcome to the channel. Yep, happy to have you, man. Been with me for a long, long time. Yeah, cool. Says that's awesome. Thanks a little help. Pushing 750. Can't wait to get that million. You get her. Come on, growth. Yeah, that's growth has been just just wow. We invested a couple of years ago, anticipation of these types of returns, and man alive, when they happen, it's like wow. And investing in down markets, that's hard. You know, people are having an easier time investing now. I don't get that mentality, but yeah, that's why we do it. Too many folks want that instant gratification. Well, my stock didn't 10x like something. It's rigged. Yep. That's no doubt. It's all somebody else's fault, right? Yeah, Maddie's in the house. It's great to see you, man. Keep reinvesting those dividends. Yeah, that's the cool part about that. It's about that $93,000 portfolio that I showed you, the 2-part one. Each of those little machines are paying me every single day. So, boy, it's motivating. It's motivating to know that you've got those little entities that are working for you. It's quite frankly, it's inspiring. Shit. I wish you could see it that way as well. Not you, Matt. I'm just people in general. It's just, how many people out there have actually been paid a dividend? I've been paid tens of thousands of dollars in dividends, just like an insurmountable amount of money it's free money. It's like I'm not making this up, man. For real. D, what's going on, man? It's good to see you. Good to see you. Driving up to Connecticut next week. I will be there. I'll be at the Academy next week. I will be there. Yes, I will. Looking forward to it, man. Good to see you, brother. Long time no see. Yeah, I know. I'm a little sporadic on the Friday live stream. Please forgive me, but I'm not going to apologize. That's just me. When I'm on, I'm on. Keep the subscription to the channel. No problem. We'll grow and continue to evolve together. Next pit stop is 5 million, 2.5 million. It doesn't, the thresholds of wealth from here, it's compounding money. I'm fine. I'm happy. Just in true Ryan independent investor channel style, I don't have any socks on. I'm barefoot in my Nike shorts and my t-shirt. Yeah, dude, if I lost this t-shirt, I'd be sad. You know how many live streams I've done in the same t-shirt? I hope people don't come on and think I'm disgusting. I think society would have me, displaying such a person to not wear the same outfit twice. That's what I feel about that. I don't know. You guys don't think that's gross? Shit, I wash it. So, damn, don't hold a grudge, man. I added Booking's a great company, man. That's a great company. And it's one of those, It's one of those ultra growth companies, man, that I look back on. I wish I would have taken a sizable position in the company, because it's a really good one. The space I'm interested in, where I'm not so interested in, the cruise lines or the airlines or the autos. I don't like any of those three. I do like travel and leisure, and I love this space. And Travelocity is right up there with it too. So thanks for coming on. Devil's Coins. Dude, if you know how to make a cryptocurrency, I'm in the market. Actually, if anybody who catches the live stream at minute 15, there's a shameless plug for myself. I'd like to actually establish my own cryptocurrency. I have an idea. I have an idea about an actual asset based. Yeah, what a novel idea. We actually come out with a currency that actually is asset backed. But I would like to actually have the opportunity to establish some a meme coin for myself. hmm That's mine. Yeah, ours, ours. You can join me in this endeavor if you'd like, and reach out to me. I give you 5 emails to reach out to me. I get solicited all the time on the channels for a bunch of bullshit. And if there's anybody out there that actually knows, I need good merch and I need some cryptocurrency, man. So if you guys know anybody, send them my way. You know how to get a hold of me. I'm not very private with my with my availability. hmm Yeah. Very good. Working back up, make sure everybody gets their ample shot out. Evening, Ryan. You're living proof that it can be done. We're living in the best times for the individual investor. Jesus, that's well said. I mean, we can reach back to Helen and can remember those times where we didn't have this much access to not only information but the stock trade. I mean, stock investing it's all free. You can buy and choose. I mean, you can succeed in Robinhood. As much as I don't like that company and don't like the platform, you can still succeed with Robinhood as your conduit to the market. It's no problem. Um, but those options didn't exist when I started, baby. They didn't exist. And it's almost like you give more access to people and they'll do everything they can do to scoff at the opportunity. And just I think people really underestimate the amount of access that is available in 2025. It's insane. And you wonder why we're making moves the way that we are. We have the ability. I mean, I went to Aduro Clean Technologies and spoke with them directly, but the ability to be introduced to a company like that, I would have never had that opportunity 10 short years ago. 20? Hell no. 10? No. But we wonder if the tide is changing a little bit in that it's impossible to find a good growth stock that is undiscovered now. If it were going to be any more possible, it would be now that those opportunities are possible. And so guys like Mariusz, who's a featured channel of mine, I watch him close. He very, very, very unique investor, right? That is kind of proving my point a little bit, and I don't have that conviction. I watch from an entertainment perspective, and I hope the guy kills it, and he's kind of proving that the power of information it can lend itself to something special. It doesn't always have to be if you get involved, you're going to lose. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. And more people that I associate with in my circles are kind of proving that out. Penny Queen is another one, you know, access through the network. And it, quite frankly, I mean, Blood Phantom is in that, Matt Money, Kyle Livingston, with Passive Income Investor, all those guys, they're all part of the network that we share in successful mindsets. Christopher Blaine, he's the last one I'm going to feature before we get on out of here. But it's the network, guys, that is the value to me. It's the same thing at work. The network is what I value. Very, very, very good. Reginald's in the house, man. Great to see you, brother. Great to see you, Reginald. Thank you for being part of the community, my friend. It's great to have you. Don't go anywhere. Share the message, man. You're always part of my community, man. Always. You know, this is just a small corner niche of social media that I would like to say is pretty independent. That's for sure. Just like sitting across from somebody and talking. And Steve O's in the house, man, at 007. Great to see you, my friend. Very cool. Always been an awesome supporter of the channel, man. And then really my good friend Chris. And I'll leave with Chris because Chris is yeah, he's right here with me, man. He's always supported the channel, and yeah, it's always been a friend of the channel. Um, very devout. And the least I can do is deliver a little bit of entertainment and a little bit of, you know, wherewithal and a perspective, because I know Chris is a good investor himself. And just like a lot of people, man, they don't have to come in here and think that you know, I can teach them the ways of the world. No, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. As a matter of fact, far from it. You know, but you know, Chris is absolutely part of that inner circle. And you know, if I had a table at Camelot, man, I think Chris would have one of those 12 seats around my table of success. There's no doubt about it. But guys, I want to thank you so much, man. It's been an awesome live stream tonight. I will not be on the live stream next week. I do have that professional engagement that I will be out of pocket for. So please understand that we won't be doing the live stream. So don't look for it. But we'll look to reconvene the week after. Look for it. I appreciate you guys hanging with me for the fastest 60 minutes on YouTube. Have a great rest of the weekend, and we'll catch you in about a couple of weeks. Thanks, guys.